more. Now, he's one of the most in-demand actors in Hollywood and fresh off the back of the Oscar win for Dallas Buyers Club. So will former rom-com king Matthew McConaughey be able to back it up with his latest flick? I'm excited about this movie, and so is our man in Hollywood, Sam Rubin. All right, Sam. The world of showbiz has been pretty impressed with Matthew lately. Do we think another Oscar is on the cards?
Well, David, you're absolutely right, and good morning. They are impressed with Matthew McConaughey and this, we call it the McConaissance, this real career switch that Matthew has articulated several times where he said, you know what, I'm tired of doing these rom-coms. I want to do deeper, more interesting things. Obviously, Dallas Buyers Club, which took him to the Academy Awards, was a great example of that, and so too now. Here comes Interstellar. Christopher Nolan, of course, who made the Batman trilogy, a director who in itself is a brand name, has decided he wanted to take a look into space and so much more. So this is a movie that spends a lot of its time not on planet Earth. There's some very emotional scenes on planet Earth and then a lot of sci-fi stuff. It's very interesting. It was very enticing to Matthew McConaughey, and we talked about his participation, his starring role in this movie.
And the Oscar goes to Matthew McConaughey.
1 hour after the Oscars, I'm at a steak restaurant, break my front tooth in half. And I was like, well, that's good timing. I'm glad that didn't happen an hour before the Oscars.
It was the night that changed Matthew McConaughey's life and cemented him as one of Hollywood's most bankable actors. And while Dallas Buyers Club may have earned him an Academy Award, it was a string of rom-coms that made him a star.
You know what? You did your job, though, Andy. You wanted to lose a guy in 10 days. Congratulations. You did it. You just lost him.
McConaughey has become one of the world's favorite leading men, and his choices in the past few years have really earned him cred.
Nobody knows if the stock is going to go up, down, sideways, or in circles. You know what a fugazi is?
Oh, fugazi. It's a fake.
Yeah, fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust.
I definitely don't feel I have any more pressure. I have more choices, and that can bring some sort of added pressure because you have a lot of things that you're like, oh, look at all the things I can do now that maybe I didn't even get to see 3 years ago. But I'm still asking myself the same questions and going through the same, trying to get the same answers for myself before I choose a role that I now as I did 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
His latest film is Interstellar.
Everybody ready to say goodbye to our solar system? To our galaxy. Here we go.
The ultimate tale of survival, the hope of mankind resting on Matthew's shoulders as an astronaut and a father.
You have 2 sons and 1 daughter.
Yes.
I have 3 daughters and 1 son. There's a father-daughter component to this movie.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that a little bit.
I'm not imagining what it's like to be a father, that I actually know how I feel about being a father.
But it was his son that convinced him to jump on board.
I've been answering and still do a lot of questions from him about space, about travel, about our solar system. It got me more intrigued with that because kids ask these great questions so simply, so well. So he's dreaming about those things, and I'm, for the first time, explaining them to a young man. First time, I'm glad I remember what I learned and whenever I learned it in school.
With 1 Oscar under his belt, another one could be in the cards with a star-studded cast that includes Anne Hathaway and Michael Caine.
You find when you work with, I've found anyway, that when you work with people that are really good at what they do, they don't have a magic trick. Rather they do it, they just do the simple things really well. And they usually have a pretty good sense of humor.
You might have to decide between seeing your children again and the future of the human race.
We'll find a way. But we always have.
There's a real emotional core to this movie, and when Matthew spoke to me about this, father-daughter relationship, his son, of course, I think that's really the part that makes Interstellar so interesting, frankly, much more so than all the space stuff, which is obviously compelling in its own way.
I don't know, Sam, a lot of us are looking forward to that space stuff as well, but I tell you what, I wasn't on board before, but now, this new level, I'm on the McConaissance train. Thank you so much, Sam. We'll speak to you a little bit later on. Georgie?
Well, if you're on board